What's going on, guys? Thank you for clicking in. This is Abnormal Truth here. Just thought I'd do a quick video on something that has been going around on the internet, but I just have to mention it for those who have not seen it yet. Now, for decades, I have known that NASA was lying about things. And then, I guess last year, I was looking into the flat Earth. And those people researching the flat Earth have really picked apart NASA so badly that I believe if anybody listens and looks and researches just a little bit, you will lose your faith that NASA has actually landed on the moon. And in this case that I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove to you that at least the images you have seen that are supposed to be real are actually movie props, okay? And there are hundreds of things about, especially the lunar missions, that are just hoaxes, okay? So it's not like this one thing is the only bit of evidence out there that your TV has lied to you. And this is just something that I feel strongly about. I feel like there are a lot of people who are looking through the veil of the television and the media and actually have stepped out. The first step of stepping out of the matrix is to realize that you live in one. Now, my current beliefs are that we're probably living in a matrix, like the whole thing is a system, right? But also there's another matrix in between that humans have created themselves through our media. And so not only are we living in, I think, that we're living in a simulated world, also we have been lied to, and another false reality is within that, and then several more layers. But let me show you something here. If you still believe NASA is not lying to you, like I said, there are so many examples, but you just have to take a look at this. So if you go to Google, type in lunar module, go to images, not the all page, right? Go to images. So you're looking at images. Go to tools. Let's put a filter on it. I want something that's at least 2 megs because we're going to blow this up. And I can see that this one is actually coming from, well, let's actually go there. Now you're going to have to do this yourself because, you know, when you take a look at this, you may just say, well, this is just trickery. This is not a real NASA picture. Don't take my word for it. Go to these places, download the picture yourself, and put them up in Photoshop or some kind of photo manipulation software. Now, what I want to do is I want to download the high res. I'm going to right click, save this image as. I just want to put some ones after it so I know which one it is. So we save this. This is from spaceflight.nasa.gov. You know, this is an official picture of what is supposed to be reality. Now let's go into Photoshop and open this really large file that we got. All right, let's open this bad boy. That's the one. 3 meg pictures, pretty big here. But what's cool, and at some point when you zoom in, it will get too blurry, right? But we have a rather large picture to work with. So let's go 200% and see where we're going here. That's rather blown up. I'm just winging it here. We may have to go to 150, but it doesn't really look like it. It's looking a little grainy here. And I can't see enough of the picture in a frame. So let's go to 150. May even have to back down to 100%. Let's blow it up to 150% here. And when you start doing that, you can take a really good look at what this lunar module is made out of. Now, looking at this, you can already see that this looks like crumpled up construction paper and tape to me. But I will find another picture. Now, this looks like those cheap poles from an umbrella or something like that. Those poles that you could just probably bend with your two arms and bend them, you know. And so look at this, it's tinfoil wrapped around with tape. Does that seem like something that is space worthy to tape the foil around it? It seems like there would have been a better way to do that. So let's go take a look at another example. Actually, I just saw what I needed here. Let's go to the bottom right corner. Yes. Okay. Take a look at this and tell me if this looks like a high dollar piece of equipment that we paid for, or tell me if it looks like a really crappy job of a mock-up of some sort of lunar module. And do you see the tape here in different sections? Do you see that this is like construction paper? And do you see the tent poles or whatever these are that are taped on? Do you believe that this thing actually made it to the moon? Look at that. Does this look well constructed? Do you believe that construction paper is a good thing to put on the outside of your spaceship? Look at those poles. These poles look like from the photo they're just taped on, and I believe that's what's happening. You can say that they were maybe attached with hinges or brackets or something. Maybe they were, but they're taped over. And look at this. Does this not look like construction paper to you? I mean, what a crappy job. And I'm telling you guys, this is just one of the hundreds of little things that people have found while looking into especially the Apollo missions. I mean, I could probably construct this, and I have no building ability at all, but I could, if you gave me some money, I could put this together. Now let's zoom out and take a look at it, you know, what we've been looking at all of our lives here. Let's go like 75%. Let's go, I want to fit the whole thing on screen. Even 50% is a huge picture. Now, take a look at it now, okay? I think this is more evident at this zoom than it was really zoomed in. Take a look at this and tell me if this is a real spacecraft or a movie mock-up. It looks like a flying crackhead house habitat that some crazy dude made to live in. I mean, that's really what it looks like. I mean, take a look at this. If you're not believing me, go look up this picture. You see it right here. You can tell the official NASA I mean, go to an official NASA website that carries the photos and go look for yourself, because nowadays that's what you need to do. You need to not take my word for it. Don't take, and for heaven's sake, don't take the media's word for it. Now, let me say this. This is the reason why I'm just showing one of these examples. Okay? If they would lie to you about this is a huge lie. We had to study this in school. If I remember watching the Challenger exploding in 6th grade, but people that are older than I am, this was the biggest deal that happened in their generation, was the moon landings. This is not only just some kind of white lie that the media always does. This is the hugest lie, one of them, that I can think of. Now, what's happening is people are taking a look at this. They're taking a look at 9/11. They're taking a look at Sandy Hook. And the progressive, awake, intelligent people are coming to the conclusion that that rectangle box hanging on your wall has been lying to you your entire life, and in itself creating a matrix. Okay? Because they can create our reality with images. Because it was not too long ago where almost everyone, if they saw it on TV, it must be true. And if you are still in that mode of thinking, then do some research. Why? Because I would rather take the pill that brings me out of the matrix. I want to know what is actually going on in my reality, and that's just how I'm wired. Even if it's the most horrible thing, even if the truth is horrible, I want to know. I don't want to live in a fantasy world somebody else has painted for me. Just think about all the things you think you know, and ask yourself how much of that information derives from your education and the media. And it's not just the news. There's social engineering going on within Hollywood, within TV shows, within commercials, within your music of all genres. There's social engineering going on, and there always has been. It's just now it's coming out. They're losing control. Their matrix is crumbling. And my hope is that the numbers of us who don't just hear fake news and laugh at the word conspiracy, guys, is this a conspiracy or is it fact? I mean, look at it. Okay? If you laugh at the world and you think conspiracy tinfoil hat is funny and all nonsense, you're wrong. We are the ones that are right. We are the ones that are telling you, hey, this is not as it has been told to us. Look at this construction paper. Go to NASA's official website, download the biggest picture you can, blow it up, take a look at these for yourselves. This is not so evident in the other pictures when other angles are taken of the lunar module. And so, I mean, what do you guys think? Here's the big deal. This is so in your face that this disproves at least that the images they say that came from the moon are all hoaxed. You could argue if they actually went there or not, okay? But this is an obvious lie that has been told to all of us. And why is that such a bad thing? Because we probably did not go to the moon, and yet we thought we did. We have spent, I'm going to just guesstimate trillions of dollars since the NASA became, an agency. Okay? That's a lot of time and money collected on a lie. And so even for this lunar landing, you have to say that there was some money made here. I don't want to pull up the budget for the Apollo missions. I don't really have to. It's a lot of money even back then. Okay? And when you do not have to actually go to the moon, and you don't actually have to produce and engineer an actual spacecraft, and all you have to do is pay some engineers to come out with some good theoretical schematics of them, there's some profit margin there. And we're living in many matrices. Like, I'm trying to tell you that I think the entire system that we live in is like a matrix, but it's a system. And it is made to fool us into not knowing that we're living in a system. But what you have here is another matrix created by our education, by our media, by our news, and by pop culture, and it goes on and on and on every level you can think of. And so I ask you, my friends, is this a real spacecraft? Or is it a piece of garbage to trick you into thinking that it is actually, let's go 20%, get the full picture. This is the full picture. Download it if you want. This is barely zoomed in. You just need to zoom it in a little bit to get to look at these tape marks more clearly. And you can really see how this almost looks like, when you look at it up close, it almost looks like something a 12-year-old built in his backyard to pretend like he was going to the moon in. That's how badly this thing is constructed. It does not look space worthy. It does not look worthy to even land on the moon. Never mind that there's no dust. Never mind that there's not a huge crater under here that's supposed to be under here, because this is a thruster. Okay? And the moon is supposedly covered with really fine dust. You can almost imagine this as flour, And when this thing lands, you're going to have a crater there. You're going to have a large crater. So, what I'm saying here is, not only, if you just open your eyes and zoom in on this a little bit, tell me this thing went to the moon. Leave me your comment down there and tell me that you believe this thing went to the moon. Okay, I want to hear that. And so what I'm telling you guys is what I see and what I hope. I see so many people recognizing the fact that we're being lied to on the TV. And what's infuriating now is that they're being called out in a massive way now, especially on YouTube. And so they're attacking researchers on the internet and calling them fake news. And millions of you are buying it and going, yeah, that's fake news. Yeah, we can't listen to them. You guys are being duped. And if he would just investigate some of these quote unquote conspiracies, and the word conspiracy is under attack, and I can always tell a sheeple by someone who goes, that's conspiracy nonsense. All right. Many years ago, people were saying that they could listen in on your phone conversations, they could track your location, they could do all these things. This was even before the smartphones started coming out. After the smartphones started coming out, there were conspiracy theorists, you know, the people that wear the really thick, tinfoil hats. They were saying, guys, they are tracking your location. They can read all your text, emails. They can pretty much know everything about you. And although even more people knew that was true, because just the capabilities of the smartphone, the phones got so much more sophisticated, it is a little bit more believable that they could be tracking everything you're doing on there. Then Edward Snowden came out, and this became fact. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. And that's just one I can think of off the top of my head. And it's an important one. It is the government spying on you, but did not tell us, okay? They did not come out and tell everybody in a really big public way, hey, we're not, we're gathering data on everybody, and if we want to, we can listen to anybody's conversation, read anybody's text, see where anybody's phone is on the planet. And so it's I'm excited because I see so many people online that are realizing that we're being lied to. That just because you see it on TV does not mean that it is true. And it has gotten so bad in this day of age that you may want to go with the opposite of what you see on TV. So let me know what you guys think. I know this is not the only NASA is a hoax item that I could have pointed out. But my goodness, guys, how more visual can you get? Okay, let's go 35% on there. How much more visual can you get than looking at this with open eyes and asking yourself, why is there construction paper, tinfoil, tape, and tent poles all over this thing? I mean, really. I know it was the 60s, but this does not look like a real device that you would land on the moon with, okay? If I was a pilot, or I guess more correctly, if I was an astronaut, and they said, hey, we want you to land this thing on the moon, I would probably decline. I would say, yeah, I don't feel real safe with the tape and the construction paper and the tin foil and the poles that I could bend with my own arms, and or even if I stepped on them, they'd probably bend. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to decline. I do not want to fly this thing and land it on the moon. And yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous. And so anyway, guys, I know most of you probably are aware of these kind of things, but I'm aware of hundreds of little things in these pictures that are wrong. But this is one of the biggest examples you can see that all these images that we've gotten from the moon are fake. You know, if you want to keep lying to yourself and bury your head in the sand, that's fine. But there are a lot of us who aren't buying it anymore. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people out there that just aren't buying it anymore. So if you are still a NASA fan, start looking into this, because I've seen bubbles coming off of astronauts while they're supposedly doing a moonwalk. That's another thing you can look up. It goes on and on. It goes well past just the lunar landings, I would like to say. Then ask yourself, if they would tell us this big of a lie, what else have they lied to us about? That's got to be one of the biggest lies you could tell, is that we went to the moon. You know what? Hey, humans have left the planet and landed on another orbiting moon. And it's just amazing to me. My hope is that all of these kind of things are just going to spread until even the common man will be like, yeah, I don't really believe my TV anymore. You know, it's bad. It's really bad. It's so much worse than I ever imagined. And each day that goes by, I'm just more and more amazed on how fake our world is, and from the information that we're getting from the TV has painted our reality, because we wholeheartedly believe that our media would not lie to us. And at some point, we're going to have to shut that down. And I guess economically, it may happen anyway. The legacy news looks like they're on their way out. It's going to take them a while to die. They've got a lot of money. They've got people backing them. They've got all kinds of stuff going on. They're not going to die next year. But there are a lot of people who just do not watch the news anymore, because it's unbelievable. Anyway, guys, thank you for letting me rant. Hopefully, if you were believing in NASA and the lunar landings and their whole story that we landed on the moon, hopefully this will get you curious and have you start looking into this yourself, because it is a lie. Look at it and tell me this isn't a lie. Anyway, guys, I love you all, and I will see you soon with another video.